Okay, in this Word Chapter 5 video lesson, we're going to be actually looking at the merge feature. And this is kind of the fun part about doing merge, because now when we do the merge feature, we're actually going to be creating a new document. We're also going to be looking at some of the other elements in the merge ribbon too. So remember, we have our letter, the Health Club form letter that we've been working on, and we've added some merge fields and also an if condition. Remember, if the standard membership, it costs $75, but if they're premium, it's $105. We created that data source that has all those addresses and names in it, and then we link that data source to the letter, and that's why we have this extra file showing. So here is our letter. And we are still on the mailings tab, and we're going to merge our data source to our letter. So the first thing is, if you are working with the letter itself, it's really important to do your proofreading with your letter, so making sure everything is proofread correctly, and also in your data source too, because if you have something typed wrong, for instance, if you spell membership plan standard or premium wrong, it's not going to work with your rules and your conditions on that if statement, because the if is looking for exact spelling. So the nice thing about the merge is we started out with the mail merge with our template letter. We edit our recipients. We can edit our recipients. So if I edit my names, I can actually edit my recipients here. And I can also double check too to make sure I've got standard premium spelled correctly, so I can proofread here. Here's my data source that we're using, and we can actually sort this, so I can sort A to Z my records, or I can even filter my records, but we will go in that a little bit more detail later. Okay. So we're going to do the merge. So we started working from the left, and now we're moving on to the right. We did a little bit with the greeting line. We inserted a merge feature. We did rules. Now we're going to preview the results. So when I click this button here, preview results, I can actually get a preview in my form letter. So there's Mr. Skyrenka, and I can see that his standard plan showed up and the rates showed up, okay? Then I can go to the next letter and preview it. There's Bethany Ames' letter, and she had a premium plan and her $105 rate. Donald Carter, there his name, standard plan, rate. Benjamin 2, rates. Juanita Mendez, rate. And so you want to preview and make sure each letter is perfect. You're going to proofread each letter. Now I'm looking here and I'm seeing like a triple space and another double space here. And so sometimes you might want to even just go back to the letter itself and take out some of those mistakes. So I'm going to update my save. Go back to my mailing, and now I'm going to finish and merge. And so the finish and merge button is pretty cool, because we can actually look at edit individual documents. We can send the documents to the printer, or we can email the documents. Since we don't print in class, we're not going to email, we're not tied to Outlook. We're going to edit individual documents. Now watch what happens, especially down here on your taskbar. You have one Word window open, okay? So I'm going to finish merge, edit individual documents. Do I want to edit all of them or just the current one? I'm going to leave it on all. Click OK. And now I've got two windows open. So I have letter 1 and the form letter that we originally started with. And if you notice on this letter 1 document, it took all that information from the data source that we created and has now generated 5 personalized professional business letters. So here's Bethany Ames' letter. Here is Donald Carter's. Here's Benjamin 2's. Here's Juanita's, and so forth. So after I've gone through and proofread all those, I may want to just file, save as, and we're going to save into our documents folder, total fitness, and now we have a health club merged file, your name, and the 5 documents, pages 5 on this document, and then we can print this one out. Okay, so that's the cool thing about the merge, is that I didn't have to type 5 separate letters. I actually had a form letter, created a data source, used the finish and merge button to get my individual letters typed. Okay, the next thing on the merge, and I'm going to go ahead and close out the merged file and go back to my form letter. But the next thing is we didn't talk about special documents. So here we have 2 buttons, envelopes and labels. And the neat thing is you can actually create, and here's your preview of your envelope, and actually there's a feed too showing you how to feed it into your printer. But you can create envelopes, and you can actually choose the special dimensions of the envelopes, or you can create labels. And the nice thing about labels is that when you have the label feature open, this one happens to be Avery size A4, size A5. I can change my options in this, and I can choose a US standard business label and go out to Walmart or another store and find the labels, and this one happens to be Avery brand 5160 style, and then I can look for that 5160, 5160, and choose that label to create that document. So now I've created a new document, and then go back to my mailings with my labels, and then finish and merge. Now, one thing about labels is once when you have this in here, you're actually creating another new document. So here's my label 2. This is not my form letter, okay? And then I'm going to use the existing list. So go back to my data source file, choosing my data source, and then I'm going to delete my fields. Actually, let's leave some up there because it's deleting my lines too. So I'm going to put in insert title, space, insert first name, space, insert last name. Hit enter, and then my next field, address line 1, enter, address line 2, enter, and then I'm going to go city, comma, space, state, space, zip. Now see, my line spacing's not all that great, so let's change our line spacing on here. We want 0 points, 0 points, and single spacing. I may even want to center my address. I may even want to format it so it fits a little bit better on my label, okay? The comma, remember I typed the comma so that the comma would show. And then I'm going to copy this, delete these, and go back up to the next cell of this label and go back to my rules and choose next record, paste, and then copy this, go to the next label, paste, 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 highlight this line, copy it, paste, 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 until I have my labels filled out. Now, in the real sense, if you had a lot of records, you would be using this whole page. But keep in mind, we've only got 5 records. So now when I preview my results, here's my labels, and it printed out all my addresses of my records. So my 5 people that I had in my database, it actually printed out for me. So now I can finish a merge and send to the printer if this is correct, or I can edit each individual document. That's a cool thing about using merges, that you can create other things outside of the merge document. So I'm going to File, Save As this document to my folder. Make sure you're in your folder, don't just save. Total Fitness. Okay, these are labels. And always show that it's the merge document. Merge, save, and there you have it. So here we have our labels merged. We can merge the addresses onto envelopes and then also merge into our fields. One other thing I did want to show you on our merged letter itself. When we finish a merge and went to edit individual documents, you have what's called a toggle field. So when you're in these documents itself and it's printing out this information, actually this is a letter and I wanted the form letter. Here's my form letter. So I can actually toggle this field to look at the field code. And it tells me the command. If the membership type here is premium or standard, we're going to give it a value as indicated. So if it's standard, it's going to be 75, but if it's premium, it's going to be 105. And you have to kind of read that on how it's worded. So if it's equal to standard, then 75. Otherwise, if it's premium, then 105. So that's an if then else kind of statement, which is kind of cool in programming. So that is the last of the video tutorials. The next video will be the video review.